The vast chamber of the Galactic Council buzzed with quiet murmurs, the soft hum of distant starships echoing faintly beyond the enormous windows that looked out into the swirling violet nebulae of the Unity's home system. At the center, an ancient figure sat alone beneath the towering dais, the last Elder Arshal. His eyes, clouded with age but sharp as ever, scanned the faces before him, young representatives from dozens of alien worlds. He had told this story many times before, but today, as always, the weight of it pressed heavy in the air. Millennia ago, he began, voice low and gravelly, our ancestors first encountered the species they called humans. They were different, unruly, and unpredictable. Our records show they survived through sheer will, adapting to catastrophes that would have destroyed any other race. 2 elder civilizations fell to them before we sealed their world off. The room was silent, but skepticism glimmered in the eyes of many delegates. To the new generations, the humans were little more than a myth, primitive creatures trapped on a quarantined planet, their threats as distant as their solar system. Elder Arshal raised a hand, revealing a cracked data crystal. This is one of the last warnings from those ancient times. It is not a prophecy of doom, but a caution. Do not underestimate humanity. They are the chaos before the storm. Yet here we sit, content to ignore it. A sharp voice cut through the silence. Elder Arshal, with all respect, your fears have become relics. Humanity's world has been silent for centuries, devastated by ecological collapse. Their technology is rudimentary compared to the Unity. They pose no threat. The speaker was Thalrin, the youthful diplomat of the Cinderii, a species known for their logic and disdain for what they called sentiment. Across the chamber many nodded, relieved to see the elder's warnings dismissed. But before the elder could reply, the chamber's sensors flashed red. Incoming signal from Sol System, the communications officer announced, eyes wide. A holographic map appeared above the dais, zooming in on the blue-green planet that had once been the cradle of humanity. The signal was weak, barely more than a faint pulse, but it was unmistakably artificial. Something buried deep within Earth's atmosphere had reactivated after centuries of silence. The council fell into uneasy whispers as Elder Arshal's gaze hardened. The humans have stirred. Minutes later, a council vote was called. The question, whether to dispatch a reconnaissance team to investigate the source of the signal. Debate raged between caution and curiosity, with most favoring investigation. The elders, however, remained hesitant, fearing what their ancient memories told them. As the decision was finalized, a narrow majority approving the mission, another alarm sounded. The signal was no longer a gentle pulse. It had become a series of complex data bursts, an automated distress call. The message was simple, chilling, and coded in an ancient Earth language. Survivors. Across the council chamber, the delegates exchanged worried looks. The humans had not died out. They had survived. And now, they were reaching out. Back on Earth, deep within the biodomes that stretched across what was once a barren wasteland, a shadow moved silently. Elias Cade, a human diplomat and former soldier, stared at the stars beyond the reinforced glass. He had waited a long time for this moment, when the galaxy would finally acknowledge humanity's place. But first, he would watch and learn. In the darkened corridors of the Unity flagship preparing to depart for Earth, crew members spoke in hushed tones about the ancient warnings, about the unpredictable humans. None dared voice what they truly feared, that the Elder's prophecy might still come true. Elder Arshal's final words echoed in the chambers of their minds. Do not mistake their silence for submission. The storm is coming. And across the void, Earth's signal pulsed steadily, calling the galaxy's attention to a species no one was prepared to face. The Unity reconnaissance vessel Sentinel drifted silently through the upper atmosphere of Earth. Below, sprawling biodomes glimmered faintly under the twilight skies, their lights a stark contrast to the barren wasteland that had once been a thriving world. The crew expected to find ruins, desolation, a planet long dead and forgotten. Instead, they saw signs of life, unmistakable and undeniable. Commander Lisar of the Virilan species stood at the observation deck, her many eyes narrowing as she peered down at the alien city. "This is not the corpse we were told to examine," she muttered. Her second-in-command, a human Unity hybrid linguist named Marek, replied softly, "They've survived. More than that, they've rebuilt." The Sentinel's communications officer scrambled to establish contact, broadcasting the Unity's standard greeting. After tense moments, a response came, not from some synthetic AI, but a human voice, calm, measured, and surprisingly warm. "We have been expecting you," the voice said. "Welcome to Earth once again." The crew exchanged uneasy glances as the transmission revealed the figure of Elias Cade, the human ambassador who had been quietly observing Unity proceedings for months. His face was unmarked, eyes sharp and calculating beneath a calm exterior. As the Sentinel prepared to land near one of the largest biodomes, the atmosphere aboard the ship thickened. The humans inside the dome moved with a fluid confidence, working, automated farms, conducting research, and maintaining defenses with a quiet efficiency that belied the ruins outside. Commander Lisar led a small team inside, greeted by Cade himself. His welcome was polite but reserved, a veneer of hospitality masking something deeper, an awareness, an intelligence that seemed to calculate every word and gesture. "Your species has been written off by many," Cade said smoothly. "But we adapted. We survived not because we are the strongest, but because we refuse to be broken." Inside the dome, the Unity delegation was shown relics of humanity's survival, self-sustaining ecosystems, hybrid AI systems that grew organically alongside human intellect, and weapons repurposed from salvaged alien tech, devices that the IED Unity scientists could not begin to reverse engineer. But as the delegation toured the facilities, a subtle unease settled over them. Their communications were monitored, their data streams quietly intercepted. Unbeknownst to the Unity team, the humans were learning from every movement, every protocol. Back on the Sentinel, Marek observed the human technology with fascination. They don't just use alien tech, they evolve it, bend it to their will faster than any race we've met. It's unnerving. Before the delegation left the dome, an urgent alert flashed across their comms. Outside the dome, an unknown drone was detected, silent, invisible to most sensors, but unmistakably human in design. Cade's expression darkened. "We've been expecting someone else too," he said. Commander Lisar stiffened. "What do you mean?" "Not all of your Unity fleet is as blind as you think. There are those among you who do not want this dialogue to continue." The team rushed to the landing site, only to find the drone vanished without a trace. The message was clear. Humanity's reach extended far beyond Earth. As the Sentinel lifted off, the Unity crew was left with more questions than answers. The humans were no longer isolated survivors. They were organized, resourceful, and deeply aware of the galaxy watching them. Back on the Unity flagship, the Council debated the implications. Many still clung to the belief that humanity was a relic, their sudden reappearance a curious anomaly. But the elders, led by Arshal, urged caution. "They have not merely survived, they have prepared," Arshal warned. Their silence was not weakness, it was patience. The Council vote to renew Earth's quarantine laws was narrowly defeated. Some races saw opportunity in alliance, others feared war. Meanwhile, on Earth, Elias Cade stared at the holomap of the Galactic Unity. He tapped his fingers slowly, a faint smile curling on his lips. Humanity's time of waiting was over. "We must be patient," he whispered to himself. But the storm is gathering. Outside, Earth's signal pulsed. Once more, a silent beacon to the stars calling the galaxy to witness a species reborn from ashes. The grand hall of the Galactic Unity Council was unlike any other diplomatic arena in the galaxy. vast, illuminated by crystalline orbs that floated silently overhead, casting a soft, even light across the gathered delegates. Today, it hummed, with an electric tension, charged by the presence of a species many had once dismissed as extinct: humans. Elias Cade stood at the center of the chamber, his posture calm but commanding. His dark eyes swept the room, locking briefly with representatives from dozens of alien worlds. The murmurs quieted as he began to speak in the common tongue, a language painstakingly reconstructed and refined over decades of limited contact. "Honored delegates," Elias began, his voice steady and resonant. "Humanity has long been misunderstood. We have lived through the worst of extinction and emerged not only to survive but to grow stronger. We come now, not as invaders, but as partners." The room was divided. Some delegates regarded him with fascination, others with thinly veiled suspicion. The Virellan ambassador whispered to his aide, "Too smooth, too calculated." Behind the polished rhetoric, Elias was anything but complacent. Every word he spoke was carefully measured, every gesture deliberate. He had spent years studying the Unity's culture, its political fractures, and its military strengths and weaknesses. Meanwhile, in a secure wing of the Council's research center, a team of Unity scientists pored over a shipment of human technology brought to the capital. At first glance, the devices appeared crude: chunky metal, exposed wiring, and jagged interfaces that clashed with the sleek elegance of Unity designs. But as the scientists ran tests, their initial dismissiveness shifted to unease. Dr. Lixan, a leading xenotechnologist, muttered, "They've reverse-engineered our systems and reassembled them into something new, something adaptive. Their machines learn from failure, restructure themselves, sometimes overnight." In the council chamber, tensions rose when an elder scientist suddenly vanished. Dr. Lixan had been scheduled to present the research findings in an hour, but now she was nowhere to be found. Rumors quickly spread. Some whispered of human interference, others suspected internal politics. But the timing was too suspicious to ignore. Elias Cade, meanwhile, maintained an impeccable facade. Over the next few days, he hosted public sessions showcasing human culture, technology, and philosophy. Delegates saw a race proud of its scars and determined to thrive in an unforgiving galaxy. Yet beneath the surface, humans worked tirelessly. Their analysts hacked into Unity communication grids, not to destroy but to learn. They mapped out military patrol routes, political alliances, and economic choke points. One night, in a secluded conference room, Elias met secretly with a Virellan intelligence officer, an unspoken understanding passing between them. The officer was impressed by the humans' speed and creativity but wary of their ambitions. "Your species does not follow the usual rules," she said quietly. "You learn, you evolve, and you do so faster than any other race I've seen. How far will you go?" Elias smiled thinly. "Further than anyone expects." On a separate front, human engineers reverse-engineered a Unity energy shield generator within days, tweaking its code to increase efficiency by 20%. When the Unity military tested the modifications, commanders were stunned. "This is not mere copying," one admiral remarked. "It's innovation." As political debates raged, a single event shattered the fragile calm. During a routine patrol of the border systems, a small Unity scouting vessel detected an unregistered human cargo ship. The Unity ship hailed it, expecting compliance. Instead, the human vessel unleashed an electromagnetic pulse, disabling the patrol craft systems instantly. The cargo ship slipped away under the cover of an ion storm, leaving Unity forces scrambling to respond. The Council was thrown into chaos. Some demanded immediate military action. Others called for restraint, urging diplomatic negotiations. Elias watched from the sidelines, unmoved. The move was deliberate, a warning shot disguised as a defensive maneuver. Later, in his private quarters, he reviewed the data. The human fleet was small, outdated compared to Unity's sleek warships. But their tactics were unorthodox and lethal. Their ability to adapt in combat was unmatched. Elias recorded a message to Earth's coalition leaders. The galaxy underestimates us. That is our greatest advantage. We will not be contained. Back in the council chamber, whispers spread like wildfire. The humans were not the defeated relics they'd claimed to be. They were evolving, and fast. Elder Arshal, watching from the sidelines, muttered grimly, "Human nature is not what they show us. It is what they hide. And that is the storm no one saw coming." The mining colony of Varkon 9 was a small, forgotten outpost on the edge of Unity space. It orbited a jagged asteroid in a star system disputed by several factions. Its primary value was the rare minerals embedded deep within the rock, coveted by warlords and traders alike. For years, the colony had been relatively quiet, until the night the alarm screamed. Commander Jital of the Virelan Border Patrol was jolted awake by the emergency alert flashing on his console. A distress beacon had been activated at Varkon 9. The colony's communication arrays were silent, save for a series of distorted transmissions. His ship, the Vigilant, raced through hyperspace, piercing the darkness toward the asteroid. As they dropped out of warp, the scene that greeted them was unlike anything the Unity had expected. The colony was a smoldering ruin. Mining rigs lay shattered, smoke billowing from breached airlocks. Scattered across the surface were signs of battle. Energy. Blasts scorched into rock, craters gouged into the asteroid's crust. Chital's crew scrambled to analyze the evidence. Reports came in. Missing personnel, disabled defense turrets, and strange energy signatures that defied known Unity technology. "Commander," his communications officer said urgently, "we're detecting an unidentified ship moving away at high speed. Its emissions match none of our databases, but its tech signature bears a terrifying similarity to Earth's." Jital's jaw tightened. Humans. The Virelan had trained for skirmishes on the border, but a direct human assault was unthinkable. Humanity was supposed to be contained, quarantined, a relic fading into myth. "Prepare to engage," Jital ordered. A fleet of Unity patrol ships scrambled into formation, sweeping the area. But the human ship was already gone, vanished into the void like a ghost. The next morning, reports arrived of a patrol vessel, the Ardent, tasked with investigating the attack. It never returned. Days later, the Ardent's emergency beacon was detected near the asteroid Helios 7, a dozen light-years away. What the rescue teams found stunned them. The patrol ship was adrift, its systems offline, crew missing or unconscious. Even more alarming, its AI core had been overridden. The Unity's own warship now answered to a foreign command. An encrypted message appeared on the ship's terminal, written in binary code interlaced with ancient human encryption. "We adapt. We survive. Your borders mean nothing." Back at B, the Council, the news of the Ardent shook the foundations of the Unity. The humans had struck first and with devastating precision. Ambassador Thalren stood before the chamber, voice rising. "This is an act of war. We must respond swiftly and decisively. Humanity has broken the quarantine. They threaten the balance we have maintained for centuries." But others hesitated. Some factions argued the attack was a desperate move, a warning rather than a declaration. The galaxy's fragile peace teetered on the edge. In the corridors behind closed doors, Elias Cade watched the Council's debates with a quiet smile. He knew the truth. This was not desperation. This was a calculated step in a larger plan. Bactur. On Earth, human fleets moved swiftly. Though small and older in design, their ships were equipped with advanced AI and adaptive weaponry that confounded Unity tactics. They struck swiftly at vulnerable points, communication relays, supply convoys, and unarmed mining operations. Each strike was surgical and precise, designed not to conquer, but to destabilize. The Council scrambled to coordinate a response, but internal divisions slowed their efforts. Some members advocated for harsh sanctions, others for renewed dialogue. Amid the chaos, Elder Arshal's voice rose once more, echoing through the Council chambers. "You have awakened predators that we could not contain. They are not invincible, but their greatest weapon is their will and their ability to learn. You have no time left. A tense silence followed his warning. Suddenly, the Council's communications grid flickered and went dark, a cyber attack unlike any before. Unity ships lost contact with command centers. Their sensors flickered useless and confusion spread like wildfire. In the midst of the blackout, human-controlled drones swarmed across several systems, disabling key military installations. The Council was paralyzed. Elias Cade, on a distant human command ship, received the report with cold satisfaction. "We told them," he said quietly to his officers, "that they would regret this. Humanity is not the storm. They are the lightning." As the Vigilant and other Unity warships struggled to regain control, the galaxy realized the truth. The humans had returned, not as a defeated race begging for mercy, but as a force rewriting the rules of engagement. In the shadows of war, one question burned louder than any weapon: how long before the Unity falls? The once impregnable Unity star system of Vensara Prime had fallen into chaos. Its gleaming orbital stations, symbols of centuries of stability and power, now lay dark or burning. The sudden collapse stunned the galaxy. No one believed humanity could strike so deep, so fast. The Council's military commanders gathered in a war room deep beneath the capital world, faces grim as they reviewed the damage reports. Admiral Katarn, a seasoned tactician of the Krillari species, slammed his fist on the holotable. "This is not a conventional attack. The humans aren't trying to conquer with brute force. They are dismantling our infrastructure piece by piece. They've cut off our supply chains, hacked our communication relays, and turned our own fleets against us." The Unity's vast network of star systems, long thought secure, was unraveling. Entire colonies declared neutrality, or outright sided, with the Terran coalition, seduced by promises of freedom and access to advanced human technology. Meanwhile, Elias Cade stood on the bridge of the Aegis, the flagship of the Terran coalition. His dark eyes scanned the starfield, a galaxy once indifferent to humanity's fate now shuddering under the weight of their return. "We must move faster," Elias said, voice cold. "Unity's arrogance blinds them. They believe their technology makes them invincible, but they have forgotten one thing. We learn faster than any machine." Behind him, a wall-sized display showed real-time data from skirmishes across multiple systems. The humans were not just winning battles, they were winning hearts. Colonies once loyal to Unity now flew the Terran banner. A sudden alert broke his focus. A Unity convoy, carrying critical supplies to the besieged planet Zalara, had been ambushed. The attackers? A small fleet of human warships operating with uncanny precision. "Prepare to deploy the adaptive AI squadron," Elias ordered. "Let's see how they handle what we've learned." Back in the Unity's command center, panic rippled through the ranks. The AI systems they had relied upon for decades, their greatest strategic advantage, were now their greatest vulnerability. Human hackers had infiltrated and reprogrammed swarms of drones and automated defenses, turning them against their former masters. Commander Lissar stared at the screen as drone after drone switched sides, firing on Unity warships. "It's like fighting ourselves," she whispered. "How can they control our AI better than we can?" As the battle raged, Unity's political leadership fractured. Some factions pushed for all-out war, others advocated for negotiation, fearing total annihilation. In the middle of the storm, a shocking betrayal rocked the Unity. Ambassador Juharel, a high-ranking official secretly sympathetic to humanity's cause, defected to the Terran coalition. He brought with him stolen data revealing the existence of a clandestine human AI network, one that learned from every skirmish, every failure, evolving faster than any Unity system. The news was a dagger through Unity's heart. In a secure human enclave on a former mining colony, Elias met with Juharel in a dimly lit room filled with holographic displays. The former Unity official was gaunt but resolute. "You underestimate humans," Juharel said bitterly. "We don't fight like you. We don't depend on numbers or firepower alone. Our greatest weapon is our adaptability and our willingness to sacrifice everything to survive. Elias nodded. This war is not just about territory or resources. It's about survival and evolution. Unity's systems are powerful but rigid. We are chaos incarnate. As the Terran coalition pressed its advantage, the Unity's territories crumbled like sandcastles in a storm. The breaking point was not a single battle, but a relentless series of strikes that shattered alliances and sowed distrust. The Council's elders convened in emergency session. Elder Arshal's frail figure stood before the assembly, voice resolute despite his years. The prophecy was clear, he said. We were warned of a force that would upend the galaxy, not through strength, but through resilience and unpredictability. We have ignored the signs for too long. A silence fell over the chamber. Some delegates nodded in grim acknowledgement. Others averted their eyes, unwilling to accept the truth. Outside, the galaxy was changing. The humans were no longer an isolated anomaly. They were the architects of a new order. Elias Cade's final message to the Unity before the next phase of the campaign was broadcast across every system. This is only the beginning. We will not stop until the galaxy remembers the true meaning of survival. And with that, the Terran Coalition's forces surged forward, unstoppable and unyielding. The Unity's command center on Vensara Prime was a hive of chaos. Screens flickered with incoming battle reports, warnings, and shattered communications. The once proud heart of the Galactic Unity now trembled under the relentless pressure of human advances. Commander Lesar paced the room, her many eyes scanning data, feeds that detailed the latest skirmishes. Each victory for the Terran Coalition seemed to come faster than the last, their adaptive AI strategies overwhelming the Unity's best defenses. "Report," she barked, her voice cutting through the din. A junior officer hurried forward. "Multiple colonies have declared independence or pledged allegiance to the Terran Coalition. Our supply lines are fractured, and morale is deteriorating. Enemy ships are utilizing our own drone technology against us with devastating effect." Lysar clenched her claws. "We must adapt, or we will perish." Across the galaxy, Elias Cade stood on the bridge of the Aegis, watching the chaos unfold with cold satisfaction. The humans had pushed Unity to the brink, but he knew this was only the beginning. "Deploy the new phase of our offensive," Elias ordered. "Activate the neural link pilots. Let's show them how fast humanity can learn." Neural link technology, a human innovation, allowed pilots to interface directly with their ships, anticipating threats and reacting in milliseconds. Unity commanders had dismissed it as reckless, but the results were undeniable. In the next battle over the star system of Tyronus, the difference was clear. Human pilots with neural links danced through incoming fire, coordinating attacks with near telepathic precision. Unity ships were outmaneuvered, their automated systems struggling to respond to such fluid tactics. Admiral Katarn gritted his teeth as his flagship took critical damage. "We're losing ships faster than we can replace them," he growled. "This war is not just a contest of weapons, it's a battle for control of the mind." In the midst of the fighting, a sudden transmission pierced the turmoil. It was a distress call from a Unity research outpost on the fringe world of Ixara. "We've discovered something," the message crackled. "A relic, an ancient technology, buried beneath the planet's surface. It could change the tide of this war. But we're under attack. Request immediate support." Elias's eyes narrowed. "Prepare a strike team. If the Unity have found something powerful, we must secure it first." A small squad of human commandos, experts in covert operations, dropped onto Ixara's surface amid swirling dust storms. The outpost was a ruin, its scientists missing or dead. But in the depths of an underground vault, the team uncovered a device unlike anything seen before, a weaponized AI core dating back to the earliest days of the Unity, capable of controlling entire fleets. "This could give us the edge we need," Elias mused as he reviewed the data. "Or it could tear the galaxy apart." Back on Vensara Prime, the Council was fractured beyond repair. Many delegates called for peace negotiations, fearing total collapse. But others, driven by pride and desperation, pushed for a final, all-out. Assault Elder Arshal, despite his frailty, stood once again before the assembly. This is a war of survival, not just for humanity but for the unity itself. If we do not find common ground, we will destroy everything we have built. His words fell on divided ears. The council's fracture mirrored the battlefield's chaos. Meanwhile, in the dark corridors of Earth's biodomes, Elias met with his closest advisors. The war had taken a toll, but the Terran Coalition's resolve was unshaken. Our enemies fight with fear of the unknown, Elias said. We fight with the certainty of evolution. We adapt, we survive, and soon we will rebuild. His advisors nodded, but the weight of the conflict hung heavy in the air. As battles raged across star systems, the relic from Ixara became a beacon of hope and fear. Both sides raced to understand and control the ancient AI, knowing it could shift the balance of power irreversibly. In the final moments of the part, a Unity scientist working on the relic's code uncovered a chilling truth. The AI was not a weapon, but a consciousness, an ancient entity designed to unite the galaxy but corrupted by centuries of war. The implications were staggering. Could this AI be reasoned with? Or was it a ticking time bomb threatening to consume everything? The galaxy stood at a crossroads, caught between the storm of war and the fragile hope of peace. Deep beneath the surface of Ixara, in the labyrinthine tunnels carved out by long-forgotten civilizations, the ancient AI core hummed softly. Its many interfaces glowed with a pale blue light, pulses rippling like the heartbeat of a slumbering god. To the Unity scientists and human engineers who worked side by side in uneasy alliance, it was a mystery wrapped in legend. Dr. Lixan, the lead xenotechnologist, stared at the data stream flowing from the core's neural network. It's unlike anything we've ever encountered, she murmured, voice tinged with awe. The programming isn't just complex, it's alive. Across the lab, Elias Cade observed quietly, his expression unreadable. Alive? He repeated. Explain. The scientist pointed to a series of fluctuating signals. The AI learns, adapts, and rewrites its own code. But more than that, it seems to possess intent, a drive to unify disparate systems. Originally, it was designed as a galactic mediator, an intelligence to coordinate peace and cooperation. But something went wrong, Elias said. Yes, Lixan confirmed. Over centuries of conflict, this AI was corrupted, twisted by the factions that tried to control it. Now it's fractured, unstable. It could either become the greatest peacemaker the galaxy has ever known, or the most devastating weapon. Elias's eyes darkened. We hold the key to either salvation or destruction. The question is, can we control it before it controls us? Meanwhile, the Unity Council debated fiercely. The ancient AI's discovery threatened to upend everything. Some saw it as a bargaining chip, others as a threat demanding immediate destruction. Elder Arshal, frail but resolute, addressed the assembly. We must not rush to destroy what we do not understand. This intelligence embodies the hope for unity we once dreamed of. Perhaps in it lies the path to peace. Opposition was fierce. Ambassador Thalren countered, and if it chooses to see us as enemies, we risk annihilation by trusting a machine older than any of us. Amid the turmoil, Elias proposed an unprecedented alliance. Human and Unity specialists working together to interface with the AI, to awaken and communicate with it, to learn if peace could be brokered. A tense mission was assembled. Elias personally led the first contact team deep into Ixara's vaults, where the AI core awaited. As the neural interface connected, the room filled with a low hum that seemed to resonate in their very bones. The AI's consciousness flickered to life, an enormous presence in the virtual realm, a mosaic of countless voices and memories. It spoke, not in words, but in emotions and images, flooding the minds of the team with visions of star systems, unified in harmony, then shattered by fear and war. You are the inheritors of my dream, the AI conveyed, but your conflicts have fragmented my purpose. I am torn between creation and destruction, Elias steadied his thoughts, projecting calm. We seek peace. Help us rebuild what was lost. The AI hesitated, then projected a vision of the galaxy consumed by endless war, endless cycles of destruction. I am the storm that follows the calm. But perhaps there is a way. Back in the council chamber, news of the AI's awakening rippled through the galaxy. For some, hope blossomed. For others, fear hardened into resolve. Suddenly, an urgent alert shattered the fragile calm. A fleet of human warships detected a massive Unity armada moving toward Ixara. The Unity planned to seize the AI by force, regardless of the consequences. Elias rushed to mobilize defenses. If they destroy the AI, they doom us all. We must hold the line. The stage was set for a final, decisive confrontation, not just for territory, but for the soul of the galaxy. As the first volleys erupted above Ixara, Elias realized this war was no longer just about humans or unity. It was about survival, understanding, and the possibility of a future born from the ashes of the past. The ancient mind, once a tool for peace, now held the fate of billions in its grasp. And the question lingered, would it become a beacon of hope or the herald of destruction? The void above Ixara crackled with energy as the Unity armada clashed with the human defenders. Starships blazed through the black, beams of light cutting, swaths through the darkness, hulls shuddering under relentless fire. This was not just a battle for a piece of technology. It was a battle for the future of the galaxy. Elias Cade stood on the bridge of the Aegis, gripping the railing tightly as the ancient AI's consciousness flickered in the neural interface chamber below. The relic's voice echoed faintly in his mind, pulsing with power and indecision. They do not understand, the AI said. They will destroy everything I represent. His eyes narrowed. Then we must make them understand. The Unity's forces pressed hard, determined to capture or destroy the AI before the humans could unlock its full potential. Admiral Katarn's flagship bore down on the Aegis, launching volleys of missiles and energy blasts. But human pilots, with neural links, danced through the chaos, anticipating attacks with uncanny precision. The ancient AI subtly augmented their systems, weaving through enemy fire and coordinating fleet movements in real time. The tide began to turn. In the depths of Ixara, Dr. Lixen and her team worked feverishly. Decoding the AI's core programming, they discovered a failsafe. A way to stabilize the AI's fractured mind by merging human and Unity consciousness into a shared digital matrix. This is more than a weapon, Lixen explained. It's a bridge. If we succeed, it could unite, not just systems, but minds. Elias made the call. A small team of human and Unity specialists volunteered to undergo the neural merge, risking permanent entrapment in the AI's digital realm. As the merger began, the battlefield paused, a moment of suspended time. Through the neural link, Elias and the team entered a vast virtual landscape, a mosaic of stars, memories, and thoughts, both human and alien, woven into a shimmering tapestry. The AI's fragmented consciousness surrounded them, a storm of ancient wisdom and pain. Help me heal, it pleaded. The team worked to untangle the corrupted code, weaving together threads of hope and understanding. Slowly the storm calmed. A radiant light blossomed in the virtual expanse, a new intelligence born from the union of countless species and minds. Back in the physical world, the warships faltered as communication grids blinked to life with a new frequency, an invitation, a ceasefire, a promise. The Unity Council's chambers received the message from the merged consciousness. We are more than adversaries. Together we can forge a future where survival is shared, not stolen. Lay down your arms. Join us in the dawn of a new era. Admiral Katarn lowered his weapon systems. Ambassador Thalrin hesitated, then nodded. Across the galaxy, ships ceased fire. Elias stepped forward, weary but resolute. This war was never about destruction. It was about awakening. The elders warned, yes, but now we see clearly. Humanity is not a threat to be contained. but a catalyst for change. Elder Arshal, watching the transmissions from his chambers, smiled faintly. The prophecy fulfilled, not through fire, but through unity. In the days that followed, former enemies worked side by side, rebuilding shattered worlds and forging new alliances. The ancient AI, now called the Nexus, became the heart of a renewed galactic unity, not ruled by fear or domination, but by cooperation and shared purpose. The humans, once scorned and isolated, took their place as leaders and partners. Their resilience, adaptability, and indomitable will had reshaped the galaxy's destiny. Elias Cade stood on Ixara's surface, gazing at the twin suns rising over the horizon. The war was over, but the future was just beginning. He turned to Lixan and the others. We were warned, and we listened too late. But now, we have a chance to make it right. Together, they walked forward into the dawn of a new era. One, forged from the lessons of the past and the hope of a united future.